Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I feel compelled to speak and to implore you, please stop working yourselves into a shoot. That's what's going on here again. So, of course, I'm here to discuss the hottest topic on the internet right now, the We Want Cody movement versus the We Want Rock movement. Ladies and gentlemen, I got some bad news for you. Okay. Number one, you're the main event's set for WrestleMania. Come on now. Let's be honest. That the writing has been on the wall for the better part of 2 years now that The Rock and Roman Reigns is the main event of WrestleMania, is the match that we've been building to through this whole bloodline story, that we've been building to this match for the last 2 years. Let's give some evidence here. Okay. Uh, the whole thing's centered around the bloodline, the tribal chief, and being the head of the table. Okay. Even on The Rock's own television show, when Roman Reigns was brought out and asked The Rock on the TV show, hey, why don't we fight for that belt have a match for that belt? And The Rock says, no, only a match that big can be done at WrestleMania. That was the first seed that really, I kind of thought, okay, this is real. Okay. This is probably real. And then when The Rock comes back on January 1st, says, I'm looking for a seat at the head of the table, already laid it out. And I know there's a lot of wishful thinking going on. And immediately after January 1st Raw, after the day one Raw, we saw a lot of people coming out on the internet wrestling community, talking about how, oh, well, that match is going to take place at Elimination Chamber. Oh, for sure. We're going to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber. Not true. Not true. Although that's all I heard about for a solid week was how that match was going to happen at Elimination Chamber. Everyone was dead set on that happening at Elimination Chamber. And then Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble. Everyone's like, oh, well, this is done. Now it's going to be Cody finishing his story at WrestleMania. And then he comes out and says, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Seth Rollins throws a wrench into that. Guys, the story has always been The Rock versus Roman Reigns. And you can argue that, okay, well, maybe you do 2 nights. Maybe you do 2 nights of WrestleMania, and there's a hope out there that maybe, he fights Seth on night one and fights Roman on night two, and The Rock fights Roman on night one, and vice versa, and what all this other stuff. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because if The Rock beats Roman first, then he wins the title. If Cody beats Roman first for the title, and then The Rock tries to beat him on night two, there's no reason to anymore. He's already lost. The streak is over. This unprecedented streak that we see that Roman Reigns having, this amazing streak that he's having as champion. Once he loses, it's over. There's no more, okay, well, maybe he fights for the necklace and fights for the head of the table against The Rock, but it doesn't seem as much. He's vulnerable now. He just lost to Cody Rhodes, and The Rock is going to come in and do cleanup for Cody. Doesn't make sense. Okay. So let me throw something else out there to you. That first of all, The Rock versus Roman Reigns is not just for the year 2024. This match is going to be for the next 40 years of WrestleMania. Okay. This match is going to be one that's talked about for the next 40 years. And you know what's going to be lost in that discussion? All of this internet nonsense. That's what's going to be lost in this discussion. Because the last big match that we truly had, the last generational match that we truly had, I actually attended this WrestleMania 18, The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. A generational match, still one of the best matches, best stories told inside of a wrestling ring between two superstars, okay? That's what this match is. That's what this match could be. That Rock versus Roman Reigns could be the next Rock versus Hollywood Hogan, could be the next Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, could be the next Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior. These are the huge matches in WrestleMania history that The Rock versus Roman Reigns needs to be at WrestleMania 40. And I would argue needs to be for the title as well. Even though Rock versus Hogan wasn't for the title, whatever. Or was it? I don't even remember now. No, Jericho had. So this is a huge match. It needs to be for the title, I believe, for it to mean anything. Because if Cody beats him the night before for the title, it doesn't mean as much anymore. The match is just there. Okay. So let me throw something else out to you guys. Okay. Let's think. Let's think. And let's finish the story. And I've seen some cool stuff online. Some people are actually coming up with really good ideas of why this is happening. Okay. Because the story is not about Cody beating Roman Reigns. Although recently in the last week's interview, Cody did make it about Roman Reigns a little bit. Okay. But before that, Roman Reigns had nothing to do with the story. Finishing the story was all about Dusty and getting the WWE World Championship. Okay. That was what the story was all about. So it doesn't have to happen at WrestleMania. And frankly, I'm tired of everything having to happen at WrestleMania. Okay. That everything has to happen at WrestleMania or everything has to happen at SummerSlam. That I feel like we go through this entire 364-day calendar and then we get to the day 365 and we get to WrestleMania. Now that everything has to happen at WrestleMania. I'm tired of it. It doesn't have to be like that. That's how it never was before. Things would happen all the time. And I feel that we're just stuck in this loop of endless WrestleManias. Oh, if you don't win at this WrestleMania, then you got to win at next WrestleMania. Let's break this loop and let's do something different. I think Cody understands this too. I think Cody is actually smarter than all of us right now, and he understands that there's bigger stories to be told. I always thought that he might win it at SummerSlam. He seems like a SummerSlam type of champion to me as a face. And we also know that the money is not in being champion. The money is in the chase. Every single real wrestling purist knows this, that the Wrestling 101 is the money is in the chase. So as long as Cody can keep chasing the belt and still stay at the top of the card and keep in everyone's minds, he's still going to be a top draw. He's going to still be a top merchandise seller. But the big fear is for me, and I think anyone with common sense would know, that a face champion, once he wins that belt, he becomes very vulnerable. Not for people taking the belt, but people stop caring. Because as Daniel Bryan loves to say, the fans are fickle. The fans are fickle because you know what happened after the Yes Movement, which was also a work, by the way. So there's nothing in my mind that people are like, oh, let's change the script again. Let's change it again, just like we did for the rest Yes Movement. That was a work. Okay. He was always planned to go to WrestleMania. They were setting that up back in September the year before with him trying to go for the world championship. That was all a work. So you guys can feel like you guys had some power and that you changed the card. But no, you did not. No, you did not. It was a work. It was always in the cards. There was no grand movement that changed the upper people's minds. As much as people love to pretend like the WWE doesn't have long-term booking, they book things long-term. Okay, they do. It's clearly, and if you watch the programs week to week and you actually listen to what they're telling you versus what you want to hear, which is what the problem is most of the time, because people are watching things and they're only watching to see things that they want to see and that they hope to see, and that they will try and believe themselves into believing into actual reality of seeing. No, that's not how it works. Just watch the program and take what they are telling you as truth. Okay, they're very clear with what they say most of the time. So, what if Cody has a bigger plan in mind? And I saw someone on the internet say, well, what if he wants to win the belt at MSG at Madison Square Garden, which would be amazing, right? Because Dusty got the Dusty finish at Madison Square Garden, was given the belt taken away from him. Okay, never got to be WWE champion, WWF champion at the time. Okay, so never got that opportunity. So maybe Cody wants to rectify that and win the belt at Madison Square Garden. I don't know, but it would be a lot better than winning it at WrestleMania, randomly when everyone just expects him to win, and then people will forget about him, like you forgot about Dean Ambrose, like you forgot about Kofi Kingston, like you forgot about Daniel Bryan a month or two after they won. Nobody cared anymore. Okay, nobody cared, and they only care when Kofi Kingston gets squashed by Brock Lesnar. Then the outrage starts. But the 3 months before that, nobody cared about his reign. Okay. And that's the problem as a face champion, that every face champion has to. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to Cody, but there's a good possibility that it will, that everyone will just forget about him. So anyway, what if he wins it at Madison Square Garden? I said, what about this idea? What if he wins it at War Games? Okay. What if he wins that at War Games? Why not fight Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns then beats Hogan's record that will be set till September. Okay. So he beats Hogan's record in September, takes it to War Games, and we have this big match between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at War Games, where uh, in a pay-per-view, a named event that his dad created, maybe you modify a cage and put it inside the cage to try to negate the bloodline from running in. That's been the big criticism every single time the bloodline runs in and costs them the match, and Roman Reigns skates away. Maybe you create some sort of cage with a top on it. I don't know, be crazy. You might already have two rings set up. I don't know what that looks like. But I just think that there's a bigger story being told here, and that everyone's so hell bent on Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania. I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, why? Why? Why do I want Cody Rhodes to win at WrestleMania? Because once he wins, then it's over. The story is finished. The story is over. And then what? What's the next challenge? And if that's his whole reason for being, he might as well retire at that point, because people are making it sound as if that's the only thing that matters, is finishing the story. And I know that's his whole thing, but once again, the money is in the chase. The money is in the chase. Because if we're going to sit here and pretend like that's the end of it, then what's next then? Okay, what's next for Cody Rhodes? And I think there's a bigger story being told here, and there's going to be more meaning than just winning it at WrestleMania, where many people have won belts at WrestleMania and titles at WrestleMania. And I just feel like it's assumed. It was assumed that he just win it at WrestleMania this year. And to me, that doesn't feel fun. It doesn't feel fun to me. Where when Kofi Kingston won the belt and grown men were crying in the crowd, and I shed a tear myself when Kofi Kingston won the title, was because it was so unexpected. It was so unexpected that nobody thought Kofi Kingston could win. And it was so cool when Daniel Bryan finally went to it and won. And maybe it was a little less expected, but it was cool when he won. But when Kofi Kingston won, it was so unexpected that he won. And it hit different. When Cody wins this, it's not gonna feel that way. If he was to win at WrestleMania this year and beat Roman Reigns, it would just feel like, oh, okay. And then I think there's something missing there. It wouldn't be the same. I think you can tell a better story, and you can have Hogan's record fall in September, which would be awesome for a modern day wrestler to have this kind of streak. And then you could maybe do it at War Games, like I said, maybe inside a cage to tell an even better story. I don't know, but I think there's more here. And I don't know why people are freaking out on the internet today and this weekend about this, because The Rock and Roman Reigns is a generational match. You're still going to eventually get Cody and Roman at some point. So I don't understand this pretending as if, well, if it doesn't happen at WrestleMania, it's never going to happen. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It makes no sense. Okay. It's going to eventually happen. I would actually prefer that Cody doesn't win the belt until the day before he retires. Let it go on for 5 years and do a Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker retirement stipulation where he's desperate. I want to see a desperate Cody Rhodes trying to fight Roman Reigns and get that belt, or fight anybody to get that belt. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think that would be an amazing story to tell, though, to see that desperation, because right now it feels too inevitable, and I don't like that. I don't like inevitableness. Okay, inevitability. It doesn't work. The things that make the most special moments in wrestling are the moments that surprise you. Kofi Kingston winning the belt, CM Punk walking out of Chicago at Money in the Bank with the title in hand, blew everyone's mind. No one expected that. Everyone thought John Cena was going to win. We all hoped CM Punk was going to win. We hoped that CM Punk was going to win. We hoped that Kofi Kingston was going to win. But we all kind of expected the opposite to happen. So when it does happen and you're overly surprised, that's what makes a special moment. That's what makes a special moment in wrestling. Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania won't be special because it's inevitable, because people will assume it's happened. And the only way that people will remember it was if he was to lose at WrestleMania, and then people will lose their shit again. Okay? That's the only way it becomes memorable at WrestleMania, is if he loses again. And I don't think anybody really wants to see that. So that's why I think my thesis here today on What a Mark is Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania. Cody versus Roman at War Games. And let's book it that way. And let's go for the ride because the money is in the chase. That's simple. Thank you for joining us, joining me here tonight with my ranting. As always, right on, Ride Warriors.